I just like to start with this slide, totally different to anything that you'll be expecting. And why is that there? I've been in the GCC in the prefabrication and modular construction business for 14 years. And when I first started working here, that was me. Single lonely cow out in the pasture, nobody wanting to hear about prefabrication. And so this, especially in Saudi Arabia, is what the landscape is like now. And it's great for us architects, engineers. I'm an engineer myself. And in this discussion, I don't want to confine my talk to engineers only because of what was mentioned on a number of different cases just before me, the whole issue of silos. So, yeah, the enemy of prefabrication and modular construction generally is once the factory is up and running, the commitment made, if you don't have throughput and if you don't have offtake and if you don't have volume production, that's where the threat lies. So in the kingdom at the moment, with the level of giga projects that are at large, this is going to become the epicenter for modular construction. All right, just briefly, the basis of DFMA was basically formed as a issue to do with the legacy issue of the traditional construction industry and what was needed that was different for the modular construction industry. And that goes for pods, it goes for MEP prefabrication or full modular housing. And the point here is that to have a lean process, it used to be that, which it was not lean, that traditional designs had to be then reworked, re-engineered so that they became more modular friendly. And that was an issue in terms of an impediment. Nobody wants to pay for that time. So, therefore, as some of our speakers have said before, get involved in DFMA from the very, very beginning, from the very first stroke of the pen at the conceptual stage. And this is one of the services we provide. So just in terms of what the actual issues are that sometimes are faced, the difference between modular construction and traditional, these are some of the basics. Maybe I'm blocking you. I'll continue using this, but we've got floor-to-ceiling height issues, overall building height issues, wall thickness issues, floor and ceiling void dimensions, and service risers to facilitate plug and play. These are the issues in terms of design for DFMA that everybody thinks of. But what I'd like to just concentrate on, these are issues, but it's the silo problem that is actually the bigger issue. So getting everybody involved from the very beginning is crucial, and there are quite a few stakeholders. And as I mentioned before, reworking a design so that it becomes modular friendly. And there's not a lot of adjustment that would be needed, but it needs to happen early on. And that creates a source of negativity associated with modular construction, which should not be there. So, looking at the stakeholders, we've got the clients, the designers and engineers, the assembly team, main contractor, the quality control people, health and safety, and the environmental people. Each and every one of these stakeholders has a part to play or a benefit to take from the DMFA, and that's basically for those who may not know, it's designed for manufacture and assembly. I mean, I'm sure that's well known at this stage, but I just wanted to cover it. Starting from the top, the client mandating that this is going to be a robust attempt to have a modular constructed building, whatever the asset may be, that there are certain mandates in NEOM and at the Red Sea that the predominance, where possible, of their asset delivery needs to be based on modular construction. And if that is, in fact, the case, then starting from that point, at the very first stroke of the pen, begin to influence the decision, and that can only come as a top-down mandate, and that's something that is crucial, because that trickles down all the way and becomes a cost and time benefit to the project. So the design and engineering team, which will be involved in the DFMA process, and this is an interesting aspect for us because that's what we're very involved in. Quite often, the best example, and the parametric design jumps into this as well, is to go down to a small typical parameter of the design, whether it be MEP prefabricated unit, to look at how the frame is designed and to see how the services are coordinated so that they can be manufactured. Similarly, pods, where's the service duct going to be, and how do the modules connect if they're overall large-scale modules. And to use a working example in full high-definition model to work through with the architect and the engineer what the issues are, learnings from that, which they then plug into their subsequent designs and expand on that initial knowledge, so that the architects and engineers that we work with are the ones who actually design, but using the cues that we introduce them to very, very early on. And that makes for a lean process and makes for a very smooth manufacturing process, which is what basically happens next. That the factory and the assemblies team are then empowered. There's very little rework, if any, needed for the manufacturer. And then it is assumed then that because it's modular friendly, that the equipment and machinery that is in the plant that is being used to manufacture the modules is within parameter. So crucial. The main contractor obviously has to know that there's a issue in terms of providing craneage and access and logistics. And then the QA, QC people have their method statements. So all the way down the value chain, DFMA has a part to play and a benefit to give. Just lastly, as I've got 1 minute and 55 to go, I just wanted to just go through some very basic examples of obviously at the end the benefits and the reductions, but the materials and the processes. What we've outlined here is a series of actions and behaviors, and how they break down in terms of, when I say materials, it's sub-assemblies and materials generally, but that to simplify the process as much as possible without getting in the way of the architects and designers' look and feel parameters. And that's crucial because we don't touch that when we go to work. We leave the creative sources do their work, but we just influence the actual construction or constructability. And quickly, the average reductions, and this is from a trusted source. The assembly time, if DFMA is included in the process, it goes down 61%. The assembly operations, the actual physical operations, will go down 53%. The assembly defects reduced by 68%, and the time to market is 50% reduced. And we've been on both sides of that paradigm, where we haven't been allowed the sort of DFMA opportunities. So with that just basic learning, I just like to draw this to a close and thank you very much. You're here at a great time in the kingdom for prefabrication and modular construction, and it should be very proud of that. Thanks, RG.
Let's stop in. Tell us, Philip. Is it a